Piercing blue eyes, a thick double coat, and a personality as wild as the Arctic winds. They're the escape artists of the dog world, the howling comedians of TikTok, and the ultimate snow-loving adventurers. But behind those stunning looks and mischievous antics lies a history as epic as the frozen tundras they once ruled. This is the story of the Siberian Husky, a breed that didn't just survive the harshest conditions on Earth, but thrived, leaving paw prints on history itself. In this video, we'll uncover how these incredible dogs went from ancient Siberian companions to global superstars. We'll explore everything from their origins to how they became the lovable, chaotic furballs we know today. Ready to dive into their incredible journey? Let's go. Ancient origins. 3,000 plus years ago. To understand the Siberian Husky, we have to go back over 3,000 years to the frozen landscapes of northeastern Siberia, home to the indigenous Chukchi people. To survive the harsh Arctic environment, the Chukchi selectively bred dogs that could pull sleds over long distances, hunt for food, and even keep their children warm at night. These dogs, known as Chukotka sled dogs, are the ancestors of the modern Siberian Husky. The Chukchi's careful breeding created a dog perfectly adapted to the Arctic. These early Huskies could travel 40 to 60 miles a day in freezing temperatures with minimal food. Their thick double coats protected them from the cold, and their almond-shaped eyes reduced glare from the snow. But it wasn't just about physical traits. The Chukchi also bred for temperament. They wanted dogs that were friendly, cooperative, and gentle, especially around children. This is why modern Huskies are so social and playful, despite their wild appearance. What's more, the Chukchi's relative isolation from the rest of the world ensured that the Chukotka sled dog's lineage remained pure for centuries. As a result, modern Siberian Huskies can be traced to a lineage which is over 9,500 years old. They even show a significant genetic closeness with the now extinct Taimyr wolf of North Asia. This ancient heritage is what makes the Siberian Husky a true survivor of the Arctic. Introduction to North America, 1890s to 1900s. By the late 19th century, the Siberian Husky was about to make a big leap, from the frozen tundra of Siberia to the gold-rich lands of Alaska. This journey began during the Klondike gold rush of the 1890s, when thousands of prospectors flocked to the Yukon in search of fortune. But there was a problem. The harsh, snow-covered terrain made transportation nearly impossible. As a result, sled dogs from northeast Siberia, particularly the Chukotka sled dogs, were imported in large numbers to Alaska. These dogs were perfectly suited for the job. They could pull heavy loads over long distances in freezing temperatures, making them indispensable for transporting miners and supplies. Their endurance, speed, and ability to work in teams quickly made them the gold standard for sled dogs in the region. At the time, the term Eskimo or Eskimo, a now outdated and pejorative term for Arctic indigenous peoples, was commonly used. Variations like Uski, Uskime, and Huskimal were also in circulation. Over time, the dogs used by these Arctic peoples became known as Huskies dogs, and eventually just Huskies. When the Chukotka dogs were brought to Alaska, American settlers who weren't exactly experts in Russian geography referred to them as Siberian Huskies, since Chukotka is part of Siberia. Eventually, the name just stuck. Sled dog racing scene, 1900s to 1920s. While Siberian Huskies had already proven their value during the Klondike Gold Rush, it was sled dog racing that truly secured their legacy. The All-Alaska Sweepstakes, a grueling 408-mile race from Nome to Candle and back, became the ultimate test of speed, endurance, and teamwork, and Huskies dominated. Unlike the era's heavy freight dogs, which weighed between 100 and 120 pounds, Siberian Huskies were smaller, faster, and built for endurance. Weighing just around 35 to 60 pounds back then, they were lean, agile, and capable of maintaining a steady pace over long distances without tiring. Their natural speed and resilience made them ideal for racing, and they quickly outperformed larger competitors. One name became synonymous with their rise: Leonard Seppala, a Norwegian musher and the foremost breeder of Siberian Huskies at the time. From 1909 to mid-1920s, Seppala and his team won multiple championships, setting records and leaving competitors in awe. But it wasn't just their speed that set them apart. Sapala's Huskies were incredibly well trained, with an almost uncanny ability to work together as a unit, solidifying their reputation as the ultimate racing dogs. The Great Race of Mercy, 1924 to 1925. In the winter of late 1924 and early 1925, a deadly diphtheria outbreak threatened the remote town of Nome, Alaska. With no way to transport the life-saving serum by plane or ship, a desperate 674-mile sled dog relay became the town's only hope. Over just 5.5 days, 20 mushers and 150 sled dogs battled whiteout blizzards, freezing temperatures, and brutal winds to deliver the serum from Nenana to Nome. The final leg was led by Norwegian-born musher Gunnar Kaasen and his lead dog Balto. Balto led the team through visibility so poor that Kaasen could not even see the dogs harnessed closest to the sled. The winds were so severe that Kaasen's sled flipped and the precious serum was buried in the snow. Forced to search with bare hands in freezing temperatures, Kaasen even suffered frostbite. However, he miraculously recovered the ampules, reaching Nome on February 2, 1925. Not a single ampule was broken, and the antitoxin was thawed and ready by noon. The relay's success captured national attention, with Balto becoming a household name. He was celebrated in newspapers and radio, inspiring the 1995 animated film Balto. A bronze statue of Balto was erected in Central Park, New York, honoring the relay's success, and another statue stands in Anchorage, Alaska. However, history later recognized Togo as the true hero of the race. Led by none other than the legendary Leonard Sapala, Togo and his team covered the most treacherous parts of the serum run. They traveled 264 miles, braving negative 85-degree Fahrenheit wind chills across 20 miles of open ice over the Norton Sound Inlet, and climbing a total elevation of 5,000 feet over Little McKinley Mountain. Though Balto finished the run, Togo was the backbone of the operation, covering the longest and most treacherous leg. In 2019, Disney's film Togo finally gave him the recognition he deserved. Today, both Balto and Togo are celebrated for their roles in saving Nome, but among sled dog experts, Togo is widely regarded as the greatest sled dog of all time. Fun fact, both Togo and Balto were actually bred by none other than Leonard Sapala. This only further solidified Sapala's expertise in breeding and training some of the greatest sled dogs in history. Establishment and breed recognition, 1925 to 1940. By the early 20th century, Siberian Huskies had proven themselves as exceptional sled dogs and racing champions. However, in 1930, exportation of dogs from Siberia was halted. This meant that the existing Huskies in North America became the foundation for the breed's future. Breeders like Leonard Sapala and others worked to preserve and refine the breed's unique traits, ensuring that the Siberian Husky remained true to its Arctic roots. That same year, in 1930, the American Kennel Club recognized the Siberian Husky in their books, officially establishing the dogs as a breed in the United States. In 2023, the breed ranked as the 24th most popular dog breed in America, which is a sharp decline from their 14th position in 2013. 9 years after the AKC's first recognition, in 1939, the Husky was first registered in Canada, further expanding its reach. Meanwhile, the United Kennel Club recognized the breed in 1938, initially under the name Arctic Husky. It wasn't until 1991 that the UKC changed the name to Siberian Husky, aligning it with the AKC and other international kennel clubs. The Second World War and beyond, 1940s to 1950s. The Siberian Husky's growing reputation extended far beyond sled racing and show rings. They proved their worth in some of history's most extreme missions. One of the most notable was Operation High Jump of 1946 through 47, organized by Rear Admiral Richard E. Byrd. This massive U.S. Navy Antarctic expedition, officially known as Task Force 68, aimed to establish the Antarctic research base Little America 4. Byrd reportedly employed around 50 Huskies, relying on their compact size, speed, and endurance to traverse treacherous ice fields and haul heavy loads across the frozen expanse. Their resilience in one of the harshest environments on Earth further solidified their status as elite working dogs. The Huskies' performance in Antarctica only reinforced their military value, leading the U.S. Army to enlist them during the Second World War as part of the Arctic Search and Rescue Unit of the Air Transport Command. These dogs played a vital role in transporting supplies, mail, munitions, and medicine across Alaska, Canada, and Greenland, operating in conditions where no other mode of transport could function. Recognizing their efficiency, the military chose sled dogs over horses, concluding that 2 7-dog teams could outperform 5 horses in Arctic conditions. Dogs were more economical, required less maintenance, and could withstand the extreme cold better than any other domestic animal. One of the most remarkable feats came when sled dog teams laid down 20 feet of telephone wires in a single night, enabling battlefield communication in frozen regions. However, their most crucial role was in search and rescue missions for downed pilots. With aircraft frequently flying over the Arctic and North Atlantic, crashes in remote locations were common. Sled dog teams became the only reliable means of reaching stranded airmen, often racing against time to prevent hypothermia and frostbite from claiming lives. Huskies Today, 1940s to present. Siberian Huskies have come a long way from their origins in the Arctic tundras. Today, they're not just working dogs, they're internet stars, family pets, and cultural icons. But their journey to modern fame hasn't been without challenges. After World War II, Huskies continued to prove their worth in extreme environments. Between 1945 to 1994, the British Antarctic Survey relied heavily on Siberian Huskies as sled dogs in Antarctica. To honor their contributions, a bronze monument was erected outside the BAS headquarters in Cambridge, complete with a plaque listing the names of all the dogs who served. But Huskies weren't just limited to the icy wilderness. In 1960, during the construction of Camp Century, a secret U.S. Army project in Greenland, a Siberian Husky named Mukluk became the unofficial mascot for the 150-plus crew members. Camp Century, part of Project Iceworm, was designed for defense and space research, and Mukluk's presence brought a touch of warmth and companionship to the frozen outpost. Fast forward to today, and Siberian Huskies are everywhere. From movies like Snow Dogs and 8 Below to viral TikTok videos, their striking looks and playful personalities have made them a favorite in pop culture. But with great popularity comes great responsibility. Unfortunately, Huskies are often abandoned or surrendered to shelters at alarming rates. Many people are drawn to the breed for their stunning appearance or their portrayal in media, without fully understanding their high physical and mental needs. Despite these challenges, Huskies remain one of the most beloved breeds in the world. They excel in dog sports like agility, obedience, and of course, sled racing. For instance, a Siberian Husky named Champion Innisfree's Sierra Sinar, affectionately known as Sinar, won Best in Show at the 1980 Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show. They're also increasingly being used as therapy and service dogs, thanks to their friendly and adaptable nature. And let's not forget their role as family pets. Though they can be a handful, their loyalty, playfulness, and affectionate personalities make them unforgettable companions. From the frozen tundras of Siberia to the bustling streets of modern cities, the Siberian Husky's journey is nothing short of extraordinary. They've been survivalists, heroes, athletes, and companions, leaving an indelible mark on history and our hearts. So the next time you see a husky with those piercing eyes and that mischievous grin, remember, you're looking at a living legend. A dog bred for the harshest conditions on Earth, but loved for its boundless spirit and endless charm. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the history of the Siberian Husky. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your favorite Husky stories in the comments below.